Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. This is the Beyond Back to Basics live session, three sales and marketing pros. Let's jump right in here. All right. So I'll let everybody introduce themselves here in just a second. I'm your moderator, Matthew, Chief Marketing Officer here at TradePending. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this today, both for attending and then watching later on YouTube, where everybody watches everything afterwards anyway. And thank you to our panelists for being here. As we always do, we are recording this. We will share it out afterwards. Please, if you have questions, lob them into that Q&A thing. I'll take them in and funnel them out as they come in as best I can. If you haven't yet seen TradePending TV or our Men in the Dealership series, hit us up on social. We actually have some educational content. It's me, and also a lot of really great conversations with salespeople across the country. And for those TradePending customers, if you love us, if you love working with us, you refer us to somebody, we will send you some really nice swag, including a Big Yeti cooler. All right, so we'll come back to that wobbly bird thing later. So let me stop sharing my screen here and let's kick it off. So I'm going to go around the horn, have everybody introduce themselves. I'm just going to go across the Zoom screen here. Alaina, the floor is yours. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
My name's Alaina Jackson. I'm the general sales manager at Denooyer Ford in Vicksburg, Michigan, which is just south of Kalamazoo. I do this because it's fun, it's exciting, and I had a really, really poor experience somewhere else, which inspired me to give the car dealership life a try. Started as a salesperson, and here I am.
And I do want to call out that your general manager has played an important role in your upbringing. Could you introduce Jeff to us, please?
This is Jeff. Wiggle, wiggle,
I
one.
have one of those here in my house. Oh my gosh.
They're the best.
The greatest stuffed animal of all time. And Alaina, thank you for being here. We know that you're part of the country got hit with some tornadoes, so things are a little bit crazy for you.
Yeah, it's all right. We're good.
All right, Allie, over to you.
Hi, my name is Askew. I am a senior client advisor as well as a certified mentor over here at Schomp BMW in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. I got into the business because I have a massive love for the automotive industry. Used to work with tint, mask, aftermarket parts. Figured I'd give it a try selling cars. And 3.5 years later, I'm here and absolutely loving it.
Awesome. Thank you. Ashley, your turn.
Hi, I'm Ashley Cavazos. I am the marketing director for DeMontrond Automotive Group in Houston, Texas. Really excited to be here. I've been a part of automotive in many different facets and roles over the past almost 14 years, and I'm excited about this panel we've put together here, Matt. I'm like new faces, and I'm super pumped up for this discussion.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. All right, Veronica, over to you, and then please take a moment to tell us a little bit more about women in automotive.
Well, thank you, Matt, and I appreciate you having me on the show. First off, I've won that Yeti, and it is amazing. So definitely want somebody to get that. And anyways, I'm Veronica Dunford. I own Women in Automotive. Most people think of it as just a conference that they go to once or twice a year, hopefully. However, when I took over 2 years ago and purchased the conference from the previous owners, we kind of changed the direction of it. We're now not just a conference company, we're also education, scholarship, networking, but we base ourselves, and the pillar we stand on is for mentoring. So Allie, I'm coming for you, especially that you are in Colorado. Our 10-year anniversary celebration and annual convention is next week in Colorado Springs. So
amazing.
Yes, it's really a big milestone for us. And we are doing a lot of amazing things right now. We've recently opened up a new arm of our organization. We have a nonprofit, which is helping us really extend our educational and scholarship arm. So really, we are looking to expand not just for women, but for men also, because if we don't include the men in this discussion, we're never going to change our narrative. So I'm really excited to be on this panel with all these amazing women. And I'm super excited to have Ashley in my backyard because she's just down the freeway in the really bad traffic that I don't have to. But you guys are amazing. And again, thank you so much for having me on.
You bet. TradePending is sending a crew of 4 people out next week to the Women in Automotive Conference. Veronica, is it too late for people to sign up and register to attend?
It is absolutely not too late. And if anyone that is watching this show wants to join us, we are running a promotion. We call it buy one, give one, not buy one, get one. And it is, I'll have Matt put that in the trailer at the bottom if he has one.
Got it.
Because what we do is if you sign up, you can either bring someone with you, or that second ticket you can give to someone as a scholarship that can't get there. We've had really good success with that lately. We've been really good with bringing in people that either they can't afford it or their bosses won't pay their way, but they really want to attend. And we've found that our conference has been a game changer for a lot of people, be it to just find people that look like them, because they really don't think there's others like them. You know, there are 2 million people in the automotive space, but there's really only 26% that are women. And a lot of mechanics, but only 2% of women, technicians and mechanics, you know, and sure, this whole panel is women, except for Matthew.
I'm the moderator. The panel's all women.
Right, but there's really not a lot of really strong women in one area. There's a lot of us, believe it or not, but if you look around, you don't see them because there's very few in your immediate area. So it's really good for us to all get together and feed off each other's energy to meet others that we can network and connect with, that you can call on when you need someone. You can call on when you need advice, or even just someone to listen to you and say, you know, I've been through that too. And here's how you can deal with it. Because
Awesome.
it's not the same. I had all male mentors growing up, and in my original careers, I've always been in male dominated industries. But when I got into automotive, it's amazing the friendships I've made with other women that I never thought I would have. And it's awesome to actually finally have those connections.
Veronica, thank you for being here and for spreading the mission and the passion. All right, so let's jump into it. I've got my notes ready to go. So the theme today is beyond back to basics. And so there's certainly a narrative, which has a lot of truth to it, that there's a need to get back to basics of selling and marketing and automotive. And I asked the team here, like, who never lost their mojo, who never lost the swagger. And so Alaina, Allie, Ashley all rose to the service from our team here internally. It's like, all right, these are the pros who never lost their swagger. So let's see what beyond back to basics means for them. So Allie, I'm going to kick it off with you. When we talk about back to basics and selling, what the heck does that mean to you?
So, I mean, honestly, it's really going back to listening to your clients. You have to make them feel heard. You have to make them feel seen. You have to cultivate that relationship. I mean, not for nothing, you're not always going to have the best price. You're not always going to have the exact car that they're looking for, just due to where climate has been in the automotive industry. But if you can create a relationship with them and make sure that you're giving them something that they can't get elsewhere, that's beyond essential. At the end of the day, I mean, you don't want to be pushy, you don't want to have pressure, but you want to listen to them. You want to actually make sure that what they're getting out of your conversations with them is what they're looking for. It's not about trying to oversell. It's not about being pushy. It's just listening.
Yeah. Alaina, same question to you. Putting on your sales management hat.
Yeah, for us, it's really slowing down and following that road to the sale. Basically, like I have a saying, like, get to the 80% car. And that comes from, like what Allie said, listening, build that rapport, investigate wants and needs, We've seen over the last couple of years, we're just throwing a dealer plate on the back of a car and tossing somebody the keys. You see it, but we've kind of, it seems like a lot of dealers have gotten away from what the purpose of that investigation is. Why we attend demo drive. It's where we sell the car. Like, why aren't we doing it anymore? So slowing down that demonstration, using the information we've learned through a thorough investigation. We're not order takers. A lot of dealerships have even kind of changed their whole selling structure and gone to non-commissioned product specialists who they really, I don't see that investigation happening. I don't see the rapport building. The relationship isn't there. Really having their actual wants and needs in mind to get them as far as we can take them. I mean, the industry is always evolving, but it's always true that consumers are going to want to work with someone who's knowledgeable and practiced and committed to helping them find the right vehicle for them. So
Right.
like getting back to those basics of consistent training, goal setting, accountability, and follow-up for us.
Give us a little bit more detail on the 80% car. What the heck is that?
The 80% car, it's taking a swing at the car that meets 80% of their wants and needs. If we're asking the right questions, just like Ali said, we're building that relationship with them. You should, as a seasoned sales professional, you should be able to land somewhere close. Are we asking the right questions? Maybe the car's not the right color, but we ask, rather than saying, what color do you want? We say, would you like a lighter or darker color? Because you're not going to pigeonhole yourself when they're like green, because someone's done it. So that's called a special order. And we used to do that. It was like we could sell the car because we were the only one that had it. So we stopped asking a lot of those questions and building it. And it was like, oh, you want this F-150? I have it. Here's the keys. Take it for a drive. This is how much it is. Done. So we've kind of gotten away from finding out what they need and then getting them as far as we can. And then having the confidence and the relationship that you built to say, well, would the color keep you from owning it? You're like, let's take it to the next step. You've earned the right to do that after you've spent an hour with this person. That's the 80% car.
Got it. So we'll go up even one. We start sales management, now even the highest level. Some might say the best level, since we're marketers here. But Ashley, what does back to basics mean for you from with the marketer's hat on?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. I have an interesting background, so I am much more operational minded than I am marketing minded at the same time. So I kind of put all those things together, very similar to what Alaina and Ali have both said as far as thinking about the customer. But that's really what it comes down to in my mind from a back to basics in marketing. So what are we doing to connect with our audience? Who is our audience? What is that message, right? The channels are going to fluctuate from a marketing perspective, just depending on where we are. Back in the day, it may have been more TV, right? Now we look at digital and OTT, but what is the message that you're saying every time? Who are you trying to target? So when I think of back to the basics, that's really what I'm looking at. What is our strategy? What is our goal? And what is the message we need to get to engage with that customer to come to our website, convert to a lead?
How has that message changed the last year?
Oh gosh, I mean, before we were definitely in the dealership was, we had inventory shortages, like it was definitely playing in our favor where, sales was coming probably a little bit more easier. Now we've got inventory levels up, incentives are, out there. So the message now is really choosing, like, why me? Why should you choose me? Because it's really about pricing and who's going to get me the best rate, the best price. So why should you choose my dealership?
Got it.
Yep.
So, Ali, you'd mentioned that customers have options now. Sometimes people just need to slap across the face to remind themselves of the options. So what do you mean by the options? I think it's pretty clear, but you had a really great explanation of it. And
Yeah.
then practically, how do you help people actually feel seen and heard, right? It's one thing to say it, it's one thing to actually do it and execute it.
Yeah, so at my dealership, we kind of are a little bit different. We work on a one person, one price, 1 hour philosophy. One person meaning we don't have finance managers. I am the finance manager. So if you buy a car from me, you also are financing the car from me. So it kind of comes down to listening to them through that wants and needs analysis, figuring out what actually makes sense to them, and then not overselling them on that. I mean, There's two ways that you can play the game. You can either play it in a way where, yeah, you get the quick sale, you oversell, but those clients probably aren't likely to come back to you in the future. And in the position that I am in, it makes more sense to play the long game of not overselling them, creating that confidence, making it so that they come back to me in the future. But realistically, I mean, you have to come from a level of understanding, and it also kind of just depends on where you see yourself at in the future and what that's going to look like, whether it is the long game or it is the short game.
I think what's a really important distinction to make there is you're still selling, right? You're just thinking about that long term, the lifetime value of that customer. And I think that's a distinction that some people don't grasp.
Absolutely.
All right. So Alaina, you have it seemed like a pretty well-defined and tightened up process. So you've got some basics and some fundamentals for your sales process and discipline. What can you share with us about that?
Yeah, I'm very, very, very into my processes. Obviously, from our road to the sale process is our road to the sales process that, really well thought out, plan, dynamic demo drive, product presentation, all of that. But we have a couple of tools that we use on a day-to-day basis that I think make a big difference for us. We do a discovery sheet, which is, who's the car for? It's basically all the information I would need to write a deal. I'm a Ford dealer, so I want to know, are they X plan? How many miles a year we're writing a lease and a purchase? That full kind of questionnaire, but it's part of building rapport. They should be able to answer those things. We operate with a daily work plan written for each person every day. We do trade evaluation worksheets for trade walkarounds, daily one-on-one meetings. I have my guys bring me 3 people for me to call for them every day. Rather than, we all go scrolling through our CRM and we're like, where's the deal that they're missing? It's almost like we're hunting for a failure on their part, but I really like to kind of turn that back around and say, bring me 3 people that you're having problems with, you're having trouble getting a hold of. Let me help you. And then we sit here and we grind it out on the phone for a little while, see what we can turn around. And then I'm really big on KPI tracking, obviously, but we only pay for improvement, not just existing. So paying, tracking those averages and then, having contest and incentive based on improvement rather than just hitting some arbitrary number that's for everybody. That's how we do it here.
Yeah, you mentioned a daily work plan. What does that involve?
20 outbound calls, prospecting calls per day. Those are not like inactive, not active leads or whatever. 20 active calls, any of their appointments throughout the day, their deliveries scheduled, top 3 priorities for them to complete that day. 2 new things they learn, whether it is skill development or product knowledge, learn 2 things every day, and then those 3 calls to me as well. And then there's what is motivating me today was something that I added last year, and sometimes they're like, I gotta get paid, man. Or other times, it's amazing what you learn about your people when you read what motivates them every day. Some day it's a quote, one day it's the dog. Right now we did just get hit really bad with a tornado just a mile up the road here is flat. So it's like, how can we help people? What can we do? What can we do to be involved in our community? And that's been the motivator for us, right? And that's on all their sheets today.
That's amazing. It's not always about the money. It's what you can do with the money.
You better believe it.
And something we occasionally do an airing of grievances here. And it's amazing what you learn when you let people just have a moment to complain.
Oh, boy.
We all enjoy it. All right. So Ashley, over to you. So something near and dear to my heart is communication between the sales and marketing team. That's absolutely a fundamental, absolutely a basic, just premise of having a great sales and marketing engine. How do you do it?
It's really just keeping that open line of communication. A lot of times as marketers, we're like, I'm driving the traffic. But what are you doing to let Alaina and Allie know where that traffic's coming from? So Alaina can coach her team on how to follow up with that customer, and Allie knows how to respond. I love to bring my partners in. In fact, I had a roadshow this week with my team here at DeMontrond, and we had the partner come in and do kind of a reset with the stores that are on them and like, hey, this is where this customer is coming from, and these are the best practices for engaging with them. And it was just eye-opening for them because they're like, man, I didn't know this about these opportunities. Now I want them. Right. And so that's why it's so important to communicate between marketing and sales. Because I was BDC, right? I was on the showroom floor and I was always like, I'd get a lead or an opportunity. And I'm like, well, how did this customer get to me? I was, you know, at one of my groups, we had TradePending, and I wanted to make sure I understood everything that went on with that customer, and we mastered it. And I actually went around to all of my stores from a corporate marketing position and I trained them on TradePending. And what happened? We tripled our close percentage because now they knew how to communicate with this customer, how to understand what they had done to get there. And even like a lot of times, especially like let's take trade leads, most of the time people don't know that that customer was actually like on a VDP when they converted. So if you just show them like, hey, this is the VDP they clicked on when they
Right.
converted on the lead. What does that do for you? Now you want those trade leads because now you're thinking they don't just want to sell a car.
Right.
Mhm.
And there's really no getting around. Communication is very much, you can send out an email, you can host a message, like a training session, but it really is a lot of one-on-one, just reminding people. All right. Ashley, one more for you. So there's good habits in marketing. There's many bad habits too. I've been guilty of many. What are the good habits of marketing you should just never stop?
I mean, the simplest answer is measuring your data. Don't stop measuring data. Look at your data, see how things are performing. You have to understand your data and you can't just set something and forget about it, right? Like if I'm thinking, what is a good habit that I am never going to stop doing? It's measuring my data. And a lot of times we just kind of trust also what we're being told sometimes from our partners, right? But look at your own data and see how that's going. So like make sure that you know what your KPIs are and how that should perform.
Amen. All right, we got a question coming in. And I know at least one part of it's for Alaina. So curious if your stores have BDC. Also, can we get Alaina's daily work plan? I think people want to rip off here.
Yes, you can get my work plan. I'm happy to email that to anyone who wants. Matt, I don't know if Matthew provides our email addresses, but mine is ajackson@Denooyer, DENOOYER.com. You're welcome to email me. I'll send you whatever I can help you with. And then I forgot all about what the other question was. What was it again?
Do your stores have BDC?
We do not use BDC for sales at my store. That's my fault. I actually eliminated it a few years ago. Actually pre-COVID. It felt impersonal to me. I felt like our relationship wasn't starting fast enough. So we do utilize BDC for service at all of our rooftops, but the Ford store in particular is very cradle to grave with our relationship building with the customer.
Same
Got
over
it.
here, Alaina. We also
Yep.
don't have a sales BDC.
And same
Love
over
them
here
for
as well.
service. Wasn't the right for us and what we're trying to do.
Mhm.
Well, so that's a great lead in for you, Allie. So then, being a people business, like the referral business is a huge component of what you do and makes your job a lot easier. So
Absolutely.
what's your approach for building that referral business and that referral portfolio?
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about not overselling. Once I'm able to create that relationship and that almost like confidant aspect to that relationship, I have gotten to the point now where I rely a lot on referrals, whether it's actual clients of mine that are telling specific people, hey, listen, like you need to go see Allie. Or if it's Google reviews, I'm huge on Google reviews. Anytime I have anyone come in, they automatically get a link to do a Google review, regardless of if they bought a car from me or not. And it's just getting my name up at the top of the board so that when people click onto Schomp BMW, it's one of the first things that they see. Now, granted, I'm still taking fresh ups here and then, but at the same time, a lot of my business is either repeat clients or referrals. So Google reviews, business cards, dealer rater, anywhere I can get my name out, I rely heavy on.
That's me. Yeah. If you're going to
Um,
wait for business to show up, you're in trouble.
Exactly.
All right, Ashley, I see you typing furiously. You need to, we gotta throw this one out. So Ashley, do you trust GA4 fully? Wow, dangerous question.
It is a very dangerous question. I actually just replied to Jessica, but GA4 is tough if you don't have it set up correctly, you have bad data. Ultimately, is the answer, right? So if you know that your GA4 is set up and you've followed all the guidelines and getting it where it needs to go, then you can trust it. I trust my GA4. I'm also looking at my other platforms as well. So what I use is actually an outside marketing analytics platform that brings it all together for me. So I'm not in 5 different places at once, and that I trust.
Got it. Good stuff. All right, Alaina, I'm going to throw another question to you here, one of mine and one from the audience here. There's definitely been a rise in negative equity, so that changes things there, and especially equity mining. How are you and your team approaching that right now?
Yeah, that's been fun. So we're specifically in an area where everybody around us was over sticker during COVID, and we were not. We did all of our orders at invoice plus $100. So when it was forward, you had to get the orders in because that's how you filled your pipeline. So with our repeat and referral customers, which are homegrown, we have to live on that same business model. I'm looking out my window at a cornfield. We have to build that. So we don't get it as much from our people, but when it does come in, it is what it is. I literally had someone today that was 22 grand tipped, and they're not shocked by it. You don't have to make it a big deal. You don't need to sugarcoat it, but you don't need to necessarily yank the Band-Aid off either. You be gentle about it, but if your salesperson's doing a proper trade walk around, provide them a fair market value, give them evidence. And then don't forget to talk about cancellables. I think we've had more than 30-40% of our negative equity sales actually become positive when we realized they bought every product in the back from the other dealer. So they got $4,500 in cancelable warranty products. So our salespeople are trained and versed in how to call and check on those and help that person walk through getting that refund, which is very helpful.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Allie, if you've got something else to add on to that, please do.
No, I think what Alaina's saying is absolutely true. I mean, I really liked the part where she said, yeah, well, you might have someone who's negative and they're tipped, but it doesn't have to be the end of the world. That's something that I kind of take as well, especially talking to clients. There's ways to get around it. Whether it's being creative or even just the simplest way possible, looking at the cancelables, but as well as figuring out, okay, well, they're interested in this car. What can we do to make it work and get it bought? And it's possible. And a lot of people don't think it's possible when they are just looking at the numbers without having a face to explain it.
Yep. If you set the tone and you have the relationship, it's not really a problem. But if you call your sales meetings every day with all right, guys, here we go. We got another busload of negative equity coming in. Your people aren't going to go out there ready to tackle it. So if we just understand that it's there and we talk about it and we work hard to find the right solution and they like us, the negative doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. So final question here. It's coming in. And I think what's wonderful about automotive is there's not always an exact or perfect or right way to do everything. Right. And so Amanda's asking hey, she loves their BDC team. They're fantastic. And she doesn't think that their salespeople would ever answer a lead. So for the stores without BDC, are managers or salespeople answering the leads in your stores? And how does that work? Alaina, you first and over to Allie.
My salespeople answer every lead that comes in. We actually also utilize Goobagoo. So they have the live chat function from our website and they have it on their phones and they keep it open on their desktop. So when, everybody talks to their little AI lady that lives in the corporate website. Mine's name is Melissa. She's great. She's a robot, but my guys will jump in there within the first couple of seconds. So they will definitely answer the leads. We have an open lead bucket system. We have an open floor, and our average lead response time right now for internet is under 4 minutes.
That's fantastic.
Very fast, but they're here to sell a car, and they get
Awesome.
paid frankly better than BDCs do. these guys aren't making 15 bucks an hour, not even close. So I actually think they're quicker to answer, and we've seen better responses.
Awesome.
Agreed.
Allie.
Yeah, kind of same thing. Over here, like we don't have dedicated used car people or new car people. So we all just kind of, again, it gets put in a bucket, and whoever's available, it gets sent out to them. But we are consistently answering the phone. Internet leads, again, are answered within 4 to 5 minutes. And then on top of that, I mean, we also have an AI robot as well. Ours is Bailey, Miss Bailey Madison, and she's a little intense, not gonna lie. But it's the same thing here. We again, as you were saying, Alaina, we get paid a lot more than someone who would be in the BDC, so it drives us to answer those leads. We fight over the phones. Are you kidding me? Or just internet leads, because that's how we get paid.
Well, bombshell, I'm actually not a real person. I'm also an AI marketer. So. All right, Ashley, we'll finish it off with you. So then, any additional thoughts there on how salespeople are handling leads and when they're coming in versus a BDC?
No, I mean, I feel, Alaina, when I first got into automotive, I was in internet marketing, and then I relocated to Minnesota to help build BDC processes and had my BDCs, and then I had to dissolve them. But it was very similar to that approach of the relationship and the customer, and what we needed to do to deliver that experience. And so at DeMontrond, we don't have BDC. I work with the salespeople, and our managers are watching the digital traffic. And we are starting the basics. When I joined in, we were kind of building the structure of what does that process look like and what does training look like to equip our sales team. But they are excited to take those opportunities because they know 80% plus of their traffic is coming in online. So they're not walking in the front door. Phone call isn't ringing as much as it used to. So I'm watching my internet leads, my CRM, to make sure I have somebody to talk to and set an appointment with.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody, we are a couple minutes over time, so let's wrap this up here real quick. The panelists, they all get their own trade pending mascot wobbly bird, which I can see the joy in everyone's faces. If you want your own, we'll send you one. Just hit up that link right there and you'll get one. You get one for free. It's like the best deal in town. All right. So there's everybody. Alaina, I'll reach out to you, make sure we got that daily work plan. We'll include that in the follow-up email. Thank you, everybody, for attending, for listening, for watching, and a special thank you to Alaina, Ashley, Allie, and Veronica for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.